into all of them, but it looks like those with no known mental health conditions, 84% were male, 16% were female, and the vast majority of them, 55%, died by firearm. In other words, they shot themselves, with suffocation coming in at second place. Now, those with known mental health conditions, only about 69 or 70% were male, and 31% were female. So that was a bigger portion of women had known mental health conditions. And I think one reason for that finding may just be that women will tend to seek, help in these areas, and may have been diagnosed or going through some sort of counseling, whereas men will often not seek that. And also, again, 41% of the men died by firearm. Just 41% of those with known mental health conditions. So firearms seem to be the main way of going out, followed by suffocation. So of these 54% who had no known mental health issues, 42% were dealing with relationship problems. So the vast majority were dealing with relationship problems. 29% had a crisis, either in the past or coming up, that they could see. 28% had substance abuse problems. 22% had physical health problems. 16% had job problems, and 4% had loss of housing problems. So, there are lots of ways to try to help to prevent suicide. And this CDC report outlines many ways that schools and healthcare systems and places of business and communities can offer programs to help people connect and feel supported. So I guess what I will do is, since this has been a bit of a dark episode of this program, leave you with a little bit of hope. Leave you with, I don't know, hope, but something that you can do so that you can be more aware. If there's someone in your life who you think might be heading in that direction, or if you might be feeling that way yourself, there's 12 warning signs that they give through this CDC report. Feeling like a burden, being isolated, increased anxiety, feeling trapped or in unbearable pain, increased substance use, looking for a way to access lethal means, increased anger or rage, extreme mood swings, expressing hopelessness, sleeping too little or too much, talking or posting about wanting to die, and making plans for suicide. So what I've understood from most doctors is that making plans for suicide, in other words, suicidal ideation is what they call it, having the idea and making the plan to do it, is the strongest sign. These other signs are important, but they can pass away. But once someone has reached the suicidal ideation stage, that's when they get really serious. So there are people at risk, people who are going through problems that you may not know that they're going through those problems. That's the biggest takeaway. Because as we saw with both Kate Spade and with Anthony Bourdain, very few people knew that they were in trouble. So that's something to keep in mind. To be or not to be is hopefully a question that most people will not ever have to ask themselves. But the question I counter to the to be or not to be question is it possible not to be? And my assertion is it is not possible to not be. You may take away one form of being, but that does not take away being. From the perspective of the metaphysical, this may be something that your higher self needed to create. One of the things I talk about whenever there's highly public events around the death of a person or a famous person is that at that higher level that I talk about all the time, we choose how we're going to go out, how we're going to die, and we choose the way that we feel will communicate to people, will be something that will reach people. So, from that perspective, perhaps these people and others, Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, and others, at their spiritual level, at their highest level, made this choice to create this scenario where we feel like we've lost them. And this may spur others to try to have a deeper understanding of people's pain and how to maybe help them. But just to me, the knowledge that we don't really die. And so the spiritual turmoil that perhaps these people felt didn't go away. It's just changed into some other form, whatever form they happen to be in now. Yeah, it's a kind of a dark topic, but one I felt was necessary to talk about. So let me leave you with something a little more upbeat, okay? A little wellness tip here. This is something called breath walking, a different kind of exercise. So if you're crunched for time and you want to get the physical benefits of walking and the mental benefits of breathing exercises, consider breath walking. Now, this is based on Kundalini Yoga, and it involves making strong, purposeful strides in rhythm with your breathing. So there's a video, or several videos on breath walking. If you go to YouTube and just type in breath walking, all one word, breath walking, you can see some demonstrations of how it's done. But it's basically big strides, big breaths. And so I will leave you with that, and I will also post that on my website, which is Metaphysical Media. Just go to facebook.com and type in Metaphysical Media. Type in H. Wilkinson, Wilkinson, Media, and you'll come to my Metaphysical Media page. where I post copies of the show and other relevant materials. And I will post a demonstration of breath walking for you. So, until next week, let not the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune cause you to contemplate